Assalamu alaikum. My name's Agha Haider Raza and welcome to our program. Today we've got a fantastic show for you today. We've got two guests with us who are here from the British High Commission in Pakistan, and we're here to talk about a fantastic scholarship program that they offer to students and applicants and professionals all across Pakistan under the Chevening scholarship program that they offer here. So let's just start things off. Let me introduce my guest to you. We've got Mr. Andrew Cuff, the Deputy Head of Communication and Press Attaché at the British High Commission in Islamabad. And we've got Ms. Sheila Kiyum, who's the Head of Chevening Scholarships here in Pakistan. Thank you for coming today. How long have you been in the Foreign Service though, so far?
I've done about 6 years now, so I had 4 years in London before I came here. So I worked on South Asia for a couple of years, I worked in Europe for a couple of years, and I've been here since January last year. Interesting.
So as your role as Deputy Head of Communications and the Press Attaché at the High Commission, what all comes under that umbrella?
Yeah, so everything underneath that umbrella is our external relations with the media. So it's day-to-day media management, interacting with journalists, fielding questions, promoting the image of the UK, and then the Chevening Scholarship, which sits within us as well.
Very nice. Ms. Sheila, could you expand on the scholarship itself? What exactly is the Chevening Scholarship that's offered here in Pakistan?
Chevening is UK government's flagship scholarship program, and it offers a one-year master's program to all Pakistanis mid-career professionals, so they can go to the UK and study for 1 year at any university, and they can study any masters in the UK.
Is it just a master's program, or is it postgraduate beyond masters as well?
Yeah, it is actually one-year master's program, and in addition to that, we are also offering two opportunities. One is purely for journalists, which is South Asia Journalism Program, and the other one is in collaboration with Oxford Center of Islamic Studies. It is also a fellowship for 8 months. So under SAJP, which is South Asia Journalism Program, we take 7 journalists from Pakistan, 7 from India, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, 1 each from these countries, and they all go to Westminster University for 2 months specially designed course, and they also get the opportunity for about 2 weeks to get placement in channels like Channel 4, BBC, CNN. So it's a complete package for journalists to get to know each other and to talk about issues that they face in their countries. Yeah.
That's interesting. But is there any particular kind of applicant that you look for journalists to apply for this kind of program?
At least 7 years of working experience, and those who are keen to get to the position of influence, or those who have leadership potential. Chevening is all about leadership. So whenever we advertise, we always say, are you a future leader? If you are, then you should apply for Chevening. So we look for people with leadership potential.
Interesting. And that's just on the journalism fellowship aspect of this particular scholarship, though. But there's a wide range of other programs that are offered under the scholarship as well.
Yeah, so the main Chevening Scholarship is a one-year master's program, which covers any university in the UK, any course. And as Sheila said, the main thing we look for is leadership. So this is what we think sets Chevening apart from other scholarships. And we look for people with a bit more experience who are going to rise to the top of their fields. So people who think they're going to be leaders in their chosen profession, Chevening is for them. So we recruit Chevening scholars from all across society. We have lawyers, we have bureaucrats, we have people from the media, people from the private sector with their own businesses, but what we are really looking for is people who are going to rise to the top of their fields.
Is there any particular kind of profession that is sought out for the Chevening Scholarship, or is it, as you mentioned, just across the board with students in all fields? Though?
No, it's all fields. I'm asked this a lot. I think there's a misconception that we only look for bureaucrats, and we tend to have a lot from kind of government service, civil services and the like. But we look for anybody with leadership potential. We have people who've got small businesses, people who run large businesses, journalists, whatever. It's just people with leadership potential.
What's the selection rate on the scholarship program? I'm assuming because it's so vast and wide, there probably must be thousands of applicants for the program. So walk me through the selection process. Like, what's the applicant pool size, and how many get selected for the program?
So it varies per year, but going on the most recent year, we tend to have 3,000 to 4,000 people applying for about 60 places. Okay. So it's a highly selective process. You'll apply in November, or by the 6th of November, sorry. You will then see the application sifted by a team in London. We will have a long list of names that we at the High Commission will sift. We in the Chevening team are then experts all around the mission on various sectors. We will then whittle that down to about 200 people to call to interview, which we will do next spring, with candidates then, if they are successful, starting their studies next academic year.
So it's shortlisted to about 200 candidates here in Pakistan, and then the remaining pool goes off to England for final selection?
No, we do the interviews here as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not only academic support that's offered to the students. I believe there's, financial support, which is offered for the scholarship. What all does the financial package entail?
Yeah, it is fully funded.
Okay.
Chevening is basically a funding stream. So those who are applying for Chevening, they are applying for funding basically. And it is, we expect that whoever is applying for Chevening should be able to select courses and to secure admission from the university. So what happens is when people apply for Chevening from August till November, they submit the application form. So on the application form, they just need to mention 3 courses there. They need clarity, vision to select those courses, and according to those courses, 3 universities in the order of preference. And IELTS is another requirement. So if someone has not secured admission at that point while submitting the admission, it does not matter, because they will get ample time till next year, July 11th, to secure admission in the university and to secure IELTS band. So they just need to fill out the application form, submit it online, and then start applying to those universities that they have mentioned in the application form.
So just to clear it up, the applicant primarily applies to the university itself and then applies to Chevening separate for the scholarship, or you apply through the Chevening scholarship to the universities?
Separate. Chevening is a funding they are applying for, and university they have to apply separately to secure admission in the university.
Considering that there's such a broad range of programs that are offered, what's the most common program that students apply for? Is that for this particular kind of funding though?
So it really varies depending on the year. We have a lot of people who want to go into development work, a lot of people who go and do law, but it really varies. We had people this year who did sports science, and then people who did management. You have people going to do science, people doing transport and planning. It's a huge range, and there isn't really one course that kind of predominates. And we think this is one of the strengths of Chevening. It just takes people from all across society, regardless of university, degree, and it's a great opportunity for people.
Are there any particular schools or universities that students can apply to, or is it open to all universities?
At any university in the UK.
All universities. So every year we have people going to Oxford, going to Cambridge. London is quite popular, but it's anyone.
After that, do they get to stay on in the United Kingdom, or are they supposed to come back to Pakistan and work, or how does the post program work?
So we describe Chevening as a brain gain for Pakistan. So one of the conditions of going on a Chevening scholarship is that you return to your home country afterwards and put your skills to good effect. So one of the questions that we will ask in the interviews is about people's career plan. And the key points that we're getting at is how people will use their skills. So we want people to do the masters, learn some new skills, get some new experience, come back to Pakistan, and then put that into effect.
But do they have an opportunity to work in the United Kingdom, or they primarily come back to Pakistan?
They will have to come back to Pakistan because they get visa for 1 year and 2 months to complete their course there in the UK. And one of the conditions that they'll have to come back and be in Pakistan for 2 years to actually implement that knowledge that they'll get from the UK. So as Andrew mentioned, it is brain gain. So we want people to serve Pakistan.
Very nice. Does the High Commission then help the alumni coming back from the scholarship here in Pakistan in terms of securing jobs, or is that more so on the applicant themselves once they've graduated?
So what we will help them with is build a network. So the Chevening network worldwide is over 50,000 now. And in Pakistan alone, it's about 1,650 scholars. So we give them access to that network, and we help link them up with people. So we'll do a number of events around the High Commission and indeed around Pakistan throughout the course of the year. So what we offer is a means of connecting them to people either in their field or in other fields, which we think is another selling point of Chevening. So the alumni, draws together people who are in, the top of their business fields, the top of the government administration. So we won't help people find jobs, but we will help connect them with the people they want to be connected with.
In terms of the male-female ratio, how difficult or how easy is it for our female applicants to apply for this program? Though, I mean, is it a 50-50 ratio, or is it geared towards, sort of lifting up minorities for that matter, or male-female ratio? What does that look like for the scholarship?
So we really want to get more women applying. We've been focused on this for the past few years. We are close to gender parity, but not quite there. And our aspiration next year is to have 50-50. So Chevening is merit-based ultimately, but what we see at the moment is men apply to Chevening more than women do. So we are making a real big push this year to advertise Chevening to more women, to see more female applicants.
You said for the journalism program, which I'd like to get into a little bit more though, but for the Chevening scholarship on its own, is there any particular age bracket or background that they have to have?
No, there isn't any age bracket, but yes, if someone is applying for a specific fellowship, they should have background in that specific field. For instance, this for South Asia journalism program, the requirement is to have 7 years of working experience.
Interesting. Having said that though, how, considering that it's such a strong program here in Pakistan, what's the response been by professionals for this program? I mean, have they been wary of the program, or is it because there's 60 students that are applicants that are accepted for it? How competitive is it, or what's the response that you see from professionals here?
So really great. I've yet to meet someone who's been on Chevening and hasn't come back with a really great experience. And I think it's a well-known program. There's a certain prestige about it. I think partly because it's so selective and there are so many people applying. But when we go out to talk about Chevening, most people have heard about it. And I think the fact that people come back every year and talk about it in such glowing terms only helps that image.
I was going to ask you about it. What's the response been generally? I mean, how do these applicants feel when they come back though? I mean, do you see a change in them? Do you see a difference in them?
They always say that it has transformed their personality, the exposure they get, it's not all about, Chevening is a complete package. It is not just that we are funding your master's program. FCO, thanks to UK government, that they have designed it so well, because Chevening Secretariat in London also, they have scheduled, or every year they have organized a number of activities there or events there, so they get the opportunity to get connected with the stakeholders there. For instance, if journalists are going there, they will be introduced to different stakeholders, like in Channel 4, BBC. If someone from judiciary is going, they will get exposed to the judicial system there. They interact with their stakeholders there. They will get the opportunity to attend Wilton Park conferences. They receive invites from partner organizations like universities like Cambridge. Whatever they are organizing for students, they send invites to Chevening scholars there. FCO invite them to different events, and they get to meet high officials at FCO also. So these kind of multiple activities they get engaged to. So it is all about the exposure they get, connections they make there in the UK on top of their classroom study in the UK. So it is a complete package.
And that's really important as well. We want people to go and have a good academic year, of course, but we also want people to have fun and enjoy the UK. And again, going back to what I said earlier about the interview process, one of the questions we ask is about studying in the UK. Why do people choose the UK over, say, Fulbright or a different scholarship? And we want people to have an affinity for the UK. We want them to go and enjoy everything the UK has to offer. Go and play sport or go and see the sights. So it really is a complete package.
Going back on the South Asian Journal program, could you elaborate on that, considering that we here Media House at Self though? So how exactly does this program work, and what all does it entail for journalists even in our own company over here?
It is 7 weeks program, and they get this specially designed course from the Westminster University, their media department. They are hosting this course, and the most important thing in this program is the interaction they get with the journalists from India, from journalists from the region. So not just, again I said that it is not just a classroom study, it is about multiple visits that they get there in the UK related to their fields, and also placement there, how media house is working in the UK, what are the challenges and how media progressed in the UK. So all those things are part of this course, and it is a direct sort of engagement with the stakeholders.
So what's exactly, I mean, an ideal applicant's profile for this particular program?
So basically this is for, as I said, journalists with 5 to 7 years working experience. So those who have started their career in journalism, it is always good to, at that point, good to know that, about media ethics, what is unbiased reporting, so things like that. When they get to the UK, which is and media is quite mature in the UK, so from that point, if they get exposed to those tips from the course that they'll get, I think is the best opportunity for any young journalist.
Is there any particular educational background that you're looking for? Is it primarily based on their professional
no,
career?
it is mainly about your skills, which is leadership and influencing skills, with 7 years working experience in journalism. So there are 2 stages in the selection process. One is to fill out the application form. As Andrew mentioned, that there are 4 areas that we asked on the application form. One is your career plan, your clear vision. You should have that clear vision, clarity, what you would like to do with this course and on your return. Number 2 is networking. Whoever is leader has that sort of network of people around whom they can lead and influence. So leadership and influencing is the 3rd area. And studying in the UK. So why UK? Why they are going to UK? What they would like to bring back to Pakistan? So these 4 areas that we have asked on the application form, we asked in the interview as well. So it is not about their academic background, it is not about their grades, it is about their leadership skills. So how they appear at the time of interview, how they appear on the application form matters.
One thing that most applicants worry about when applying to the UK, of course, is A, the visa application itself, and B, bank statement. We get a lot of questions, bank statements for students, and how does that carry forward? So does that have an impact on the visa applications, and could you walk us through the visa applications for these students or applicants?
So we pay for the visa fee for the Chevening applicants. So we attach a letter to their form to say they're going on Chevening, and we have a lot of people asking us as they go through the Chevening process, what is required for the visa. So we are quite clear on what documents they need, when they need to do it by, and we tend to find that most Chevening scholars get everything done quickly and in the right way.
Interesting. How do you see this journalism fellowship helping journalists here in Pakistan? Do you see a particular gap that the journalists could be filling once they come back with these programs?
So I think it's a really important program. I'm quite proud that we only have this program in South Asia. It's not available anywhere else in the world. I think it does make a difference. I think the exposure they get to UK media organisations, their colleagues around the region, I think it really helps give people a wider set of experiences than they might otherwise have. And what we have also tried to do with the program as well is to give a platform to journalists from other regions, so not just the big cities, but other regions of Pakistan, and to try and help train some of the journalists from there.
I was going to ask you, what's the pool size or their background from in terms of are they diverse applicants who apply for this background or for the scholarship, or are they primarily from metropolitan cities like say Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad?
I mean, we always have people from the cities because that's where the bulk of of journalists are. But we do tend to have people from outside, so we've sent people from Balochistan, from bits of KP. We tend to have more applicants from the cities, but from all over Pakistan. And what we try to do is try to give a bit of balance. So there's geographical balance, there's a bit of gender balance, so you get a good spread of candidates.
And is journalism the only fellowship program that's offered, or is there other fellowships that are also offered from people from different professions?
So as I mentioned, there's another fellowship for people those who are into research, Islamic research. So we have designed this fellowship in collaboration with Oxford Center of Islamic Studies. So they go there and they spend 8 months and they work with them. So there are 2 right now fellowships for Pakistanis. So for journalists, there's another opportunity, not only this fellowship, but they can also apply for 1-year master's program through the main scholarship program. So I think it is more for journalists than anything else.
Fabulous. So are applicants still able to apply for the journalism scholarship program or fellowship program, or what's the application procedure for that program at this point if somebody is interested and they want to apply for the fellowship?
So for this year, application window was from 6 August till 10th October for South Asia Journalism Program. So it has passed. But application window for 1-year master's program is open. It is open till 5th November. Though we say 6th November, but if you look at the time difference, so it would be good if you complete or submit your application by 5th November. So, but you can apply under this SJP program next year. So please encourage your colleagues, especially your female colleagues, to apply for South Asia Journalism Program.
No, definitely, because I mean that's being in this media industry itself, that's one of the questions that's mostly asked is are the foreign governments running any particular journalism programs for them to undertake for these kind of things. But considering that the Chevening Scholarship Program is still open, could you just walk us through the application process just for our viewers, if somebody is interested in undergoing study in the UK, what exactly do they need to get done, considering that they have about 2 weeks left, just about 2.5 weeks?
Okay. So they just need to visit our website, which is www.chevening.org/apply. They will find criteria there, application form. Just submit your application form by filling out, and do not worry if you have not yet secured your admission in the university, because as I have already mentioned, it is a funding stream, so you're applying for funding at this stage. So complete your application form by listing 3 courses and universities in the order of preference. If you have not done your IELTS, because IELTS is one of the requirements, so if you haven't done it yet, just cross it that you haven't done it, because after submitting the form, which is like 6th November or 5th November Pakistani time, you will get till July next year time to secure admission in the university and to secure required band, which is 6.5 for Chevening IELTS score. So just submit your form and be very truthful, and on the application form it should be very clear what your vision is, what your plans are, and support your answers with an example, and answer those 4 areas that I've mentioned, which is like career plan, studying in the UK, networking, and leadership and influencing, by giving good examples, not necessarily big examples that you have achieved something big, even small example with big impact.
But would they have to be writing, say, essays or recommendations from their peers or colleagues, or is that part of the process as well?
Yes, we do ask for 2 references, one academic and one from your professional employer or your supervisor. Yes, so you can mention their names there at this point, and later you can provide letters from them.
Interesting. Do we see this program expanding in Pakistan, or is it going to be limited to 60 students at this point, considering that there are 3,000–4,000 applicants you had said earlier?
I mean, I really hope so. We've already quadrupled the number of people that we take over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
I hope to see it continue growing. The Chevening program in Pakistan is the 3rd largest now anywhere in the world. So it's an impressive scale, and I hope to see it grow even further.
You mentioned that, or we had been talking earlier, that the 55,000, 60,000 Chevening alumni network, 50,000 across the globe though. So are they alumni network events here that take place in Lahore, Pakistan for that matter?
Yes, so we do alumni events in Karachi, in Lahore and Islamabad mostly. Every year we will do a pre-departure briefing for all the scholars who are going, introduce them to their kind of batchmates, help them form some lasting friendships hopefully. We'll welcome them back at the High Commission when they return, do a big event, find out how the year was, and then in between that, you know, we do iftars, we do seminars, we do events for specialist subjects. So we try to keep a sense of community. You know, as I said earlier, one of the things that we offer as a package is the alumni network, and a key part of that is doing events.
What's the feedback that you get from these students who are successful and able to go to the United Kingdom for a year? What's the response, what's the takeaway that they get from studying in the United Kingdom? Because it's a fantastic opportunity for students from Pakistan or professionals from Pakistan to be able to study abroad. So what does the exposure do to them? I mean, how do you see a change in them once they come back to Pakistan?
Yeah, I think, as Shayla mentioned earlier, people often say they feel transformed. You know, they have exposure to different ways of working or different ways of thinking, and people come back with a broader set of experiences. I think what's really interesting is the amount of scholars when they return who want to help the next generation of Chevening scholars, help them in the application process or help kind of organise events and keep the alumni going. But most people will come back with sort of a real sense of enthusiasm for Chevening.
Fantastic. Well, it's a wonderful program, and I hope that those students or applicants who still haven't, I mean, I'm sure they've heard about it considering the campaign surrounding the scholarship though, but I hope they do get on their laptops and computers and apply for this fantastic program. On a lighter side though, you've been to Lahore, I take it, you come by here often though. Any particular sites, historical places that you enjoy of this city of ours?
Lahore is a difficult one because there is so much to see. I'd have to say the Badshai Mosque. I think I've been 7 or 8 times now, but it's just a magical place. Every time you walk in and see the scale of it, it's just incredible.
And how about Pakistani cuisine though? I mean, is that one of your favorites yet, or are you still trying to get used to the spices?
I love Pakistani cuisine. That's all I eat.
I can tell that.
It's one of the best things about Pakistan. I can't stop eating.
Thank you for being on our program, and
so
wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.